everybody, and welcome to our announcement of our 21-22 season. I'm so glad that you're able to join us. Diana Nolan's in the house. Hello, Diana. Thanks for being here. I am so glad that you could join us for this event because finally, some sense of normalcy. You can tell that the light is at the end of the tunnel, and it starts with this announcement of what we're going to be doing next season. I must admit, actually, Diana was hoping for some sort of pithy quote, so here you go. Try this one on for size. I feel like I'm Rip Van Winkle, waking up, and I've been thinking to myself, has it really been a year? Well, judging from the way my formal wear fits, oh yeah, it's been well over a year. In fact, it's been 560 days. It will be 560 days since we last played our last concert to when we perform our first concert in Brucemore on September 18th. So with that, let's go to work, shall we? So you know what's coming on store for you? So on September 18th, we will be joined on stage with Revival Theatre Company with Brian Glick and Cameron Sullenberger. And we're going to do an evening of Rodgers and Hammerstein, sharing the stage with the Cedar Rapids Concert Chorale, as well as local singers and dancers. It will be an evening of American glamour, and it'll just be what the doctor ordered. So make sure you set that date, because I think by that time, not only will people be mostly vaccinated, we will just really be craving for a night out on the town, and there's no better setting than on the lawn of Brucemore. So part of the classics that will be featured during this concert are selections from The Sound of Music, The King and I, South Pacific, and of course Oklahoma. So this you do not want to miss. So when it comes to our Masterworks, as always, all our performances are being performed in the Paramount in Cedar Rapids, and most of them are also repeated in the Southern Corridor, most specifically at the Coralville Center for the Performing Arts, with one exception. Our first concert on October 9th and 10th is Beethoven 5x5. You will notice that some of our programs were recycled from last year, in which we were supposed to have a Beethoven year. You'll find some of our programs are recycled with a little bit of modifications, and some are just wholesale new programming for this season. Stuart Goodyear is one of my all-time favorite artists. He's an amazing pianist. And he'll later join us in the season with a private recital playing Beethoven's Hammer Clavier Sonata. And for all you pianists out there, the Hammer Clavier is like the top of the mountain when it comes to Beethoven piano sonatas. It takes a pianist of incredible skill, and his claim to fame, his party piece, if you will, is the Hammer Clavier. In fact, he's one of the few artists that I know of who's been able to play all of the Beethoven's piano sonatas in one sitting. That is what we call a musical marathon. We have an amazing holiday season for you. We begin our holiday season on November 20th and 21st with Handel's Messiah. I've done the Messiah many times in Kansas City, only a few times in Cedar Rapids, but mostly as sing-alongs, and I thought, well, why don't we actually take this opportunity and treat it like an actual piece of music. So it'll be a concert performance with the Chamber Singers of Iowa City. Some of our soloists would not be any strangers to our area. Jessica Prague, wonderful soprano. Suzanne Lomler, Eric Berry, he's also performed with us in the area in the past, and Craig Irvin will be making his debut with our orchestra. So here's a little bit of something from Jessica Prague.
Hi, my name is Jessica Prey, and I'm thrilled to be joining Orchestra Iowa as the soprano soloist in Handel's Messiah this November 20th and 21st at the Paramount Theater in Cedar Rapids. After a really long and challenging year away from our family and our friends and of course live music, it is so exciting to come back with something so celebratory, and we really hope you come out and hear it. Please join us. We'll see you there.
She's magnificent. March 12th, Symphony Fantastique with our very own flute soloist Jane Walker. She has always been one of our, our stars in the orchestra, and it's long overdue that we've presented her as a soloist. And I have to admit, that's on my part, because I really rarely find flute concertos that I like until I came across Kevin Putz's flute concerto. It's a recent work. It's absolutely unbelievable, and I know Jane is just going to knock it out of the park. This City Beautiful by Ingrid Stolzel. I knew her when I was in Kansas City, and she is a leading composer and an absolutely beautiful person. Wonderful music. Can't wait to do her piece together with a classic like Berlioz Symphony Fantastique. So here's a little message from Jane Walker.
Hello, I'm Jane Walker, principal flutist with Orchestra Iowa. I'm currently working on a flute concerto by Kevin Putz, which we will be playing for you in March of 2022. I have to tell you, I really love this piece. I think it has everything. It's got beautiful melodies. It's got sections of driving rhythm. I think the orchestration is fantastic. And the interplay between the solo part and the instruments of the orchestra is really clever. But mostly, I am so excited that we will be back in the Paramount Theater, and I will get to play this wonderful music for you with my colleagues on the stage.
I can't wait to share the stage with her as a soloist, but you've already heard her sentiments. All our musicians are just so excited to be coming back. I mean, it's been a tough year and a half, frankly, for our musicians, many of whom, if they're not playing, they're not earning. And so to be able to get them back, not only to create great music, but also to help them start earning a living again, well, I think we can all look forward to that. On April 2nd and 3rd, Rachmaninoff Third Piano Concerto. Oh, Joyce Yang, one of my ultimate favorite people. She first played with us around 4 or 5 years ago, and she performed Rachmaninoff's Rhapsody on a Theme of Paganini. That was her party piece. And last year I wanted her to come back and do Rachmaninoff Third Piano Concerto, and of course we had to cancel it due to the pandemic. I have to tell you, I've had not very good success with Rachmaninoff Third Piano Concerto because it is such a beast. It is such a mountain of a work that I've had soloists cancel on me many times because it's so nerve-wracking. It's literally a high-flying, a high-wire act for a pianist. So you really need an artist the caliber of Joyce Yang. And so I'm so excited that she's going to come and play this piece. I've been wanting to do this work for, well, Ed, how long have I been here? 16 years? 17 years? Okay, it's been that long. And so you have to make sure you have the right soloist, and now we do. And here she is.
Hello everyone, it's pianist Joyce Yang coming to you from my home in Birmingham. I can't wait to return to Iowa to play one of my favorite pieces. I'll be performing Rachmaninoff's Third Piano Concerto, which I consider the Mount Everest of all piano concerto repertoire. It's been a trying year for all of us, and I really look forward to returning to the stage and making live music for you, and I hope you can join us for this celebration. See you soon.
Don't you dare believe that video. Oh my God. Joyce is the most ebullient, fun-loving person. That was the most stoic I've ever seen her. You're going to love her when you get a chance to meet her, but wait till you hear her on the piano. Oh my God. She is just going to tear it up, and the audience won't be able to resist from leaping out of their seats. Of all our programs, this is the one that I'm most excited about, April 23rd and 24th, Voices of Change in Beethoven's Ninth. This one is going to be reprised in the Hampshire Auditorium after our initial performance at the Paramount Theater. Everybody knows and loves Beethoven 9, but in today's society we forget what Beethoven 9 means. It's a work of the Enlightenment. It's about democracy, it's about brotherhood, it's about equality. And when Beethoven wrote the work, it was on the heels of Napoleon's defeat. So what was happening at the end of the 1700s is this idea of democracy started sweeping Europe. And Napoleon was one of the champions of this ideal, and it just absolutely threatened the power structure of Europe at the time. Napoleon he betrayed these ideals of democracy and wanted to be a tyrant himself. But after his defeat at Waterloo, the old guard came back, and there was basically military rule, martial law, as the old aristocracy really came back to power. The reason why I'm taking this time to tell you this is that when Beethoven wrote this symphony, it was very much an act of sedition, and using the Ode to Joy, a work of the Enlightenment, the text of which was an act of sedition that could have landed Beethoven in jail. Well, obviously that's a piece that everyone knows and loves, but the discovery that I think will leave people thinking of this concert the most will be Joel Thompson's 7 Last Words of the Unarmed. This also uses themes of democracy and equality in a very different context. He masterfully sets the last words of victims like Kenneth Chamberlain and Trayvon Martin to music. Other last words of Amadou Diallo, Michael Brown, Oscar Grant, John Crawford, and Eric Garner. This is all about equal protection under the law and democracy and brotherhood and equality. And after all this years from Beethoven 9, we find our societies still struggling with these ideals. As you can see, we are hiring an all-black quartet to sing the Beethoven's Ninth. This is going to be, I think, the most powerful concert of the season, one not to miss. Our last Masterworks of the season features guest artist William Hagan. He was to appear with us last year, and alas, it didn't work out, and so he's going to join us this year with the Korngold Violin Concerto, which is one of his party pieces, which is a beautiful stylistic complement to the Strauss Till Eulenspiegel. Clavier, she's a female composer from the 1920s, contemporary of Milhaud and Poulenc, and had society been less misogynistic, she would be a household name by now, because she was really one of the leading composers of her day. A very ebullient and witty and funny work, which leads us to the Haydn Surprise Symphony. I have to admit, over my tenure, I really haven't performed Haydn all that much. I think Mozart gets all the love. He's got a better press agent, I guess. But the Haydn Surprise Symphony is just one of those great chestnuts, and it's a perfect foil to Strauss's Till Eulenspiegel, which is a musical depiction of a merry prankster, Till Eulenspiegel. But that's not all we do. Of course, we do opera and ballet, and this year's opera, we are delighted to be joining forces with the Cedar Rapids Opera Theater with Così fan tutte, one of Mozart's all-time fabulous works. I can't wait to hear that and what it's going to sound and look like. I think all too often we don't have enough grand drama on the stage, and so to see and hear opera in its full regalia is really something that I'm really looking forward to next season. Of course, part of our mission to take over Christmas is our annual performance of the Nutcracker with Ballet Quad Cities. And get your tickets now, because after a year and a half of not being able to see and hear this piece, I know this is going to sell out very quickly. Of course, we also have our chamber series, now called the Shuttleworth Chamber Series. Bill Shuttleworth was a great patron of the arts, and his love was chamber music. And as you see, in his honor, we're going to be performing a composition of his. And we all miss Bill. He's been gone now for what, a year and a half, 2 years now. I miss him. One thing I love about our chamber series, it allows us a different palette to exploit that you normally wouldn't be able to hear in a full symphonic concert. For example, just look at the combination of instruments throughout these programs. String quartet or a piano quartet, duets with a horn, or Beethoven sextet for string quartet and horns. Just the variety and juxtapositions of the different instruments is what really makes this series sing. Of course, it also helps that we also have an open bar for you to drink during the performances, because the more you drink, the better we sound. So again, look at the variety here with Poulenc and Wesen and Brahms, horn, trumpet, and trombone, or how about a trio of flute, cello, and piano? But my ultimate, very, very favorite piece is the Clarinet Trio by Opus 114 by Brahms. Once upon a time, I was able to play that as a pianist, and I can tell you, it really puts all the musicians through their paces. Here, Spring is in the Air. We're featuring lots of music for flute and harp, but also with string quartet, flute and string quartet, violin and harp, and of course, sort of as a tip to the hat of last year's lost season in which we were to pay homage to Beethoven and his music, we're ending the program with an early string quartet of his, Opus 18, number 1. Our Pops series. Oh, you're going to love this. I think many of you who've been following us for a long time know that recently we have been performing music with live film, in which they've extracted the soundtrack, and in real time during the presentation of the film, the orchestra fills in the background music. And this year, right before Halloween, who you gonna call? So make sure you hold the dates on October 30th. Come in costume. And don't cross the streams. I love Ghostbusters, and actually I'm kind of embarrassed to say I was in grade 11 when that film first came out. I'll let you do the math if you go online to see how old I am, and I'm sure you'll figure it out. Okay, so Holiday Spectacular. Again, part of our plan to take over the holiday season because you already know that we're doing the Messiah, and you already know that we're doing the Nutcracker, and of course our annual holiday spectacular. It comes earlier in the season than normal, December 3rd through 5th, and for just various scheduling reasons. But our guest artist this year is going to be Amy Stoner, and I have to tell you, I love working with guest artists. But what most people don't realize is that you just don't pull music off the shelf. To be able to tailor the music to fit the voice and the personality is quite a lengthy artistic process. And so I'm still in the process of fleshing out this entire concert. But here she is to say hello.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy Friedel-Stoner, and I'm so excited to be singing with Orchestra Iowa in their 2020 Holiday Spectacular. I've worked with Maestro Tim and Orchestra Iowa in the past, singing in Follies, Holidays, and Music Man in Concert, and I can't wait to be back at the beautiful Paramount Theater this holiday season, seeing your smiling faces live and in person.
So one thing we're adding to our holiday fare that we haven't done in the past is adding a brass and organ holiday concert on December 14th. This is something that we tried to do during the pandemic, and alas, we just couldn't make it work with all the social distancing requirements. But we came up with such a great program that it would just be a shame to waste, and so we're going to do it this year. And this will be a little bit more of a formal setting. You know, Holiday Spectacular has a little bit of sacred and a lot of pops to it. The brass organ holiday concert, a little bit of the same, but a little bit more on the traditional sacred style. But make sure you come and see this, because I'm hoping this will turn into a new tradition going forward. Oh, I'm really going to have to put the orchestra to their paces. If you talk to any musician who's played the music of John Williams, everybody loves John Williams, except if you're a violinist, because it's hard. I mean, it's really hard. I mean, it's really, really hard. Did I tell you that it's hard? But it's really fun to play for the whole orchestra, and so no one orchestrates better than John Williams. And there are just so many hits after hits after hits after hits that you're going to hear, so many of them on this particular concert. So hope to see you there in February 19th and 20th. Now, this is a concert that we wanted to do, and again was canceled because of the pandemic. But you see that photo that you see there? That is actually Genes and Classics and Orchestra Iowa doing this very show many years ago in the wake of the flood. In fact, it was the very last performance at the Cellular Center before it was closed for renovation. And so after all this time, which is what? Oh my God, 12 years or so. After all this time, they're coming back and we're doing the show again. We will rock you. Oh my God, it was so much fun. My favorite actually was Fat Bottom Girls, but don't tell anybody. That's just between you and me and the universe now. Okay, so that's pretty much it, but let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, Peter Brennan also, who runs the Genes and Classics, has a few things to say.
Hi Cedar Rapids, Peter Brennan here from Genes and Classics. Just wanting to let you know how happy we are to be coming back to you in May of 2022 and bringing you our Queen show. It's going to be wonderful to work with all of you again at Orchestra Iowa, and especially Maestro Tim.
Put me up on this camera, please. So that's pretty much it for our season. I am so excited that we can do it. I like to say, keep the faith. Even better, spread the faith, because we are coming back. Now, whether you're a symphony fan or not, you can still do your part, because my musicians have been out of work for over a year and a half, and the thing you can do for them, any performing artist, is to buy a subscription, because what we need more than ever starting next season is full houses and sold out audiences. So hopefully you can do your part, because we really need you. And with that, if you can put me back on the screen, I think that's all we have for you today.
That's all, folks.
Hey, thank you very much, and make sure you join us on Tuesday for our happy hour at 5 o'clock. My next guest then will be Tammy Walker, who is also the Dean of Music at the University of Iowa. We will see you then. Thank you very much. Take us out, Ed.